Hey there, beautiful people. I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. In today's episode, I'll be talking with musician, guitarist, and frontman for the Jacksonville based doom surf band, the Creepy Tikis. Are y'all ready for this? Let's do it. Joining me now on the podcast is Jacksonville-based musician, frontman, lead guitar player for the Creepy Tikis, Mr. Donovan Wolf. Donovan, how are you?
Hey, great to see you, Tracy. Doing well.
Good, good. We've never met. We've never met in person. And prior to the show, Donovan and I were talking. I hadn't had the opportunity to get out and see his new band, and my goodness, the Creepy Tikis are really skyrocketing in popularity locally. It seems as though really over the last few months or so, it's like you guys are everywhere, including being on a morning TV show recently. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a highlight for all of us, really. The invitation kind of came out of nowhere and went to the studio, did the live broadcast. That was pretty exciting. Everybody was super friendly, and we got a lot of traction from that, obviously, because it kind of put our name out there in people's faces where they otherwise would not have heard of us. So yeah, it's just been a great ride so far. This band is just about 1 year old this month, and we're still having a great time.
That's actually skyrocketing pretty quick for a 1 year old band. Especially I would say in the Jacksonville market. I myself was playing around here decades ago, doing the bar circuits and everything, along with Crucial Eddie Cotton. You know Eddie Cotton. We played a lot
Mhm.
of the same clubs at the same time, and he and I became friends over the years, and we even worked together for a little while over at Eco Relics. I believe he's still over there. Talk to him every now and again. He still stays busy in the folk scene. Uh,
Okay.
Now the Creepy Tikis. How would you describe uh, the type of music? Is it a genre that's like set in stone, or is it something you guys created along the way?
I wouldn't say we created it. We sort of jokingly call it doom surf. Where you take traditional 60s surf music, lots of reverb and tremolo and vibrato effects, and real fast picking on the guitar. It's mostly instrumental. We do a few vocal numbers where I'm kind of singing, but it's more of like a campy Dracula voice, where we're just making sounds and howls and stuff. But yeah, and if you've seen any of our videos or whatnot, we all wear
Hmm.
costumes. We're all sort of a different tiki themed character, so we're always in character when we play, and we're just having fun with it, man. It's doom surf, spooky surf, whatever, however you want to characterize it. It's not necessarily a new genre, but I'd like to think we're putting a new face on it with our own spin on the characters and all that. It's great stuff, and
Now
surf
you're
music's
you're
fun.
yeah, yeah. It looks like a heck of a lot of fun. It really does, and I know that the audiences are having fun because it seems as though all the videos that I have seen, you've had pretty good response from the audience, and the crowd numbers seem to be pretty good. Given some of the sizes of the rooms, like Rain Dogs, for instance, and so forth. Not the biggest room in the world, but you get a lot
Sure.
of people in there, and it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean the intimate settings of places like Rain Dogs, or where you're playing to a smaller room, is actually you're sort of on the same level with the crowd and more interaction, and I tend to enjoy that. and there's more of a kind of give and take with the audience, you know. And our genre of surf is, you know, it's usually when we play a show, we're sort of the odd man out. When we fit in with a bunch of punk bands or, you know, some metal bands or indie bands or whatnot. Um, Obviously, rockabilly is sort of right up our alley, and
Right.
but typically people that aren't necessarily into surf music, they hear it and they're, you know, it lights a little bit of nostalgia in their heart. They think, oh yeah, I remember this, you know, and it's just kind of triggers the dancing bug a little bit. You know, it's just fun music. So I
Yeah.
think that's part of our success is that you sort of tapping into that nostalgia factor for people that may have not heard surf music in a long time or whatever. You know, and
Hmm.
there's people that are into it, very into it as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, and I know, going back to the TV appearance that you guys did on the morning show, WJXT. Uh, they're beginning to do a lot of local musicians on there. Here recently, Tori Nance and some of the girls that tour around with her, the Sad Girls Happy Hour. Um,
Yep.
so
Nikki Sharp and
they are reaching
Ava
out.
Clark were on there
Oh yeah,
recently.
oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah, they're reaching out to locals, and I think that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, likewise. I think it's really cool. I told the producers there the very same thing, that it's really cool that you guys are putting music on television. You know, that's something that we haven't had in a long time. You know, we had MTV 40 years ago, and then they stopped putting music on. You know, it's like, well, here's a local show
Right.
that's actually going out there finding bands, bringing them in. You know, it's hard enough to make it as a local band, and to have that kind of opportunity to say,
Hmm.
hey, you want to be on this highly visible live program, and so super cool. I definitely
Hmm.
really appreciated that.
Yeah. Now, on my friend Shelton, he works with WJCT television a lot, public television and radios on the radio, um,
Yeah, I know
frequently
Shelton,
with
great
Melissa
guy.
Ross. Yeah, but they also do a Jacksonville music scene
Mm,
thing on the radio, and they have the online presence with digital magazine, if you will.
yeah.
And they write regular articles on the music scene, both locally and statewide. So that's another avenue if you haven't gotten in, with those guys.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll look into it. Shelton did a write up on my former band several years ago, and so that was real nice back in the Folio
Oh,
days.
cool, cool. Still there, still there.
Yeah,
It's still there. Yeah, he and I were talking the other night. He goes into his 26th year writing for Folio this year.
amazing. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah. He started when he was 19.
that means we're
Yeah,
old.
started when he was 19. Yeah, yeah. We're old. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When him and I started the Contrast project in the studio, by the way, was over in Murray Hill, and the
Okay.
studio is still there. We
Yeah.
haven't gone back into the studio in quite some time. Although I've spoken with the producer, and we're likely to go back at some point and do some of it. But right now, the podcast, I'm focusing on that, and Shelton and I will be doing some. Actually, what with the elections coming up, we're going to be doing some election analysis on one of the programs too. So, and
Okay.
that's really part of what we do. That's really part of
All right.
what Shelton and I
Go
both
Donna
do with
Deegan.
this whole concept. And oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, the other, yeah. Well, the other night, Shelton's always had this thing going with Hillary, and so he's got this little doll, a Hillary doll, and he's
Hmm.
always putting it up in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Hail Hillary! It's a hoot. It's a hoot. But that's really part of the concept
He
of the
Shelton would
Contrast
say that
Project
she's
is that we
mavericky.
cover different things. Oh yeah, she's mavericky. Yeah, she's mavericky. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we'll be covering some of that. We'll be talking to Donna, and she was actually on one of our episodes, second season, third season, something like that. She was on before she was running for mayor.
Mm,
Now she's run for public office before, as has Tracy Paulson. Tracy and I are good friends. She was on our show before. Uh, but we like to cover a little bit of everything in the North Florida region, not just politics. Now I talk a lot of shit about politics on the podcast, and I have a short version of it too, the bonus rounds, which pretty much goes off the chain, and it's not safe for work. It's a headphones only
yeah,
program,
right.
but
Oh,
we don't mind talking with everybody, and that's one of the main reasons I asked you on the show. I wanted to have some more diversity on it. We had an author on last night. I'll be working with him on some of his digital books. He's coming back. That's Damian Lamar. He's coming back to
mm,
town in August with the print version of his book, and he's going to be doing some book signings and that kind of thing. So
great.
uh, we like to touch on everything here.
Yeah. Well, I like to think of it. I'm in good company here. Then I don't know if I'm that interesting, but I appreciate you and the invitation nonetheless. I've only been in Jacksonville
Well, let
about
me let me
20
let,
years now, so
well, that's long enough to know what it's about here in Jacksonville.
yeah,
You can actually pick up on the Jacksonville vibe in about 2 years.
yeah, yeah. I will say
There's
that
not
the
many
city
new.
has a
Yeah,
the
yeah. Go
city has
ahead.
a great music scene. I came from South Florida, and
Yes.
uh, back in the '90s, early 2000s, start in the '80s when I was coming of age. There was a great music scene there, and around the turn of the century, I don't know, it just sort of petered out. And I think it's a lot more electronic music down there, and DJs and stuff, and EDM, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but there's not a lot of places that cater to live original music. And Jacksonville is actually unique, I think, in that there is a lot of venues that do live music. A
Hmm.
lot of it's just caters to original music, and it's fantastic. I mean, obviously we have the history here with Southern rock, and that sort of put
Hmm.
Jacksonville on the map musically. And of course, that's still here, and that's still great. And there's the rap and the new metal, and all that's come out, and a big punk scene, obviously. But I'm just happy that
Oh
there's
yeah. Oh yeah.
support for the scene, and that people are into music. We play at Kona Skate Park a few times, and it's all ages. Obviously, a lot of kids there that are skaters or whatnot, but I mean, they are really into the music, and that gives me, great hope for the future generations. That not all the kids are home playing video games. These kids are out skateboarding and then banging
No.
their head when there's a band on
Right.
stage. So it's really cool.
I think it's really that is. I'm glad you brought that up. That's really cool that Kona started doing that because they really do have a good venue for it. They're
Right.
far enough away from. They're far enough away from neighboring homes to where the sound is not going to intrude on anybody's privacy over there, and they've been used to it for years. Kona Skateboard Park is the oldest and longest running um, open skateboard park in the
Yeah.
country.
In the world, I believe.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and showing my age, I remember going to the grand opening.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
I went there with some friends, and the guy that was with me broke his arm on the first
Oh,
dip.
geez.
He
Yeah.
went into the bowl and broke his damn arm.
Well, I'll tell you, I was just there a few weeks ago because we played a show, and I I went out and took out my old skateboard while I'm wearing my band costume. I'm Dr. Wolf, the witch doctor for the Creepy Tikis, and so I'm out skating around in the bowl a little bit. And I'm like, I still got it. And then the next day I was just a wreck. I pulled my hamstrings and blew out my Achilles tendons. I'm like, man, I knew I was too old for this. I should have listened. But it was fun.
Yeah, break out the ice. Yeah, break out the ice pack and the gummies.
Mm. And the ibuprofen, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is fantastic, and you're absolutely spot on about the music scene in Jacksonville. There's a little bit of an underground music scene. I mean, the underground music scene's been around a long, long time in Jacksonville, but they seem to be not so much underground anymore. You've got places like 1904 and Jackrabbits has always been, has catered to bands that might be on. I wouldn't say the fringe, but they're not so much, in everybody's earshot, and you'll see a
Right.
lot of diverse types of music, different bands over there at Jackrabbits and 1904,
And they get the
and other
big
places
and they
around
get the
town.
big
The
names in
Walrus,
there too.
yeah,
You know,
yes they do,
I've seen
yeah,
Dick Dale
yeah,
at Jackrabbits a couple times. So and like Reverend Horton
yeah,
Heat,
yeah.
all kinds of good stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. It would be good. It would be good if we could see some more of that. Um, Granted, there's nothing like that out in Clay Hill. The only thing out here is shit kicking music. If you're into that,
There is a lot of shit to
go
kick,
for it.
so
Uh, I mean, it's a different world out here. It really is. For people in the Jacksonville area, and I lived in Jacksonville all my life, and was part of that music scene. Part of I grew up on the north side of town. Spent most of my adult working life hanging in and around Riverside, Avondale, and downtown, the urban core. Lived in the urban core for a little while, uh, but worked for Folio for a short time, and
sure.
it's there's a lot happening in and around that area. The one thing that I would like to see, like I say, I would like to see more, more venues and more, talk about local bands. It would be good to see more than just the, dozen or so names that you always hear about. But
Hmm.
I mean, there are places that never talk about what's going on, and unless the band that's playing there posts something on their Facebook page or something, a lot of people would never know they were there. Uh, there are so many venues that just miss the mark when it comes to that. When letting people know that hey, we got live music every Thursday night, we got an open mic every Wednesday night, or something along those lines. I mean,
Yeah, I'm in this band. I mean, myself and everyone, we're relentless promoters. So that may be part of the secret to our success is just getting the word out because, exhaust
yeah.
our friends with, not necessarily that you have to come, but just so you know, and spread the word. And it's really helpful to have social media to be able to do that. I remember back in the
Oh,
day when
absolutely.
I
It's
was a young
mhm.
punk playing music, you had to walk around in parking lots and put flyers on everybody's window. And now you probably get shot trying to do
Oh yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember several bands. I played in some bands in Central Florida and up and down. Played at Disney for a little while. Uh, at the time I was in this band, actually Riff West, former bass player for Molly Hatchet, he's passed away.
Mm.
But Riff and I were really good friends, and Riff was dating the lead singer in our band at the time, Joanne Hudson, and she's still down there doing it. But I used to put together flyers for the band, like you say, flyers,
Mm.
to put up all over the place. I used to put together the flyers basically like a collage. I didn't even have Photoshop or anything. I
Yeah, the old
literally would cut out stuff, draw
cutting them up
stuff,
with scissors and stuff and taping them down. I remember that.
yeah, a glue stick, get a
Yeah,
glue stick and put them all on the little and then I'd go over to the little Office Depot or copy center and make 100 or 200 copies.
yeah. Been there,
And
done that.
I tell them, put it on colored paper. I tell them, put it on colored paper. Yeah, yeah. Everybody's got all kinds of other stuff now. Everybody's got the digital shit, and it makes it a lot more easy. And that goes along with one of the things I was talking with Shelton about the other night about the technology, how it's infiltrated everybody's lives, not just people fooling around with it, but in people's everyday lives and their jobs. and like you say, and we're talked about just now the making flyers by hand with glue sticks and paper and shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a little
with the
scary that
technology
how
now,
far the
it's
technology's
it's
gone with
so
the
easy.
artificial intelligence. Is it's hard to discern what's real
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah,
And particularly
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a volatile political climate that can be dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. Uh, the deep fakes. Some people are really good at that, making those deep fake images.
Yeah,
It's hard to tell. You used to be able, if you were good, I'm pretty good with Photoshop, and you used to be able to tell when somebody was a hack.
yeah,
You could always see something in the image. You could always see something in the image and go, ah, that's Photoshop, dude.
right. Well, that's the thing. They've made it so easily accessible now that you don't have to be good at it to make it look real. So that's
Nope,
anybody can do
nope.
it. So you got some bad actors
Yeah.
that or people just having fun, but it's still
Mm-hmm.
there's a risk of fooling the wrong people. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I just assume
And with
everything's
the
fake. So
but there's still such a thing as fact checking. I mean, if people are just lazy enough to point and click, I mean, so be it. But I
yeah.
mean, if you're not checking, you deserve what you get.
I mean, not everyone wants to be fact checked. They want to tunnel vision, believe
Yeah.
what they want to believe, and not be told otherwise. So even
Oh
if
yeah.
the
Yeah.
facts come,
Yeah.
well, we have the alternative facts.
Yeah, and I've been dabbling around with the and just like you say, the fakes out there and hacks and stuff like that. But I've been dabbling with the chat bots as well, and sometimes they come back with some crazy stuff that's way off, way off. Sounds good,
Yeah.
looks good on paper, but if you fact check it just one or two times, I, most of it is incorrect. It is incorrect. It might have good grammar.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories of how the chat bots are, there was the one recently that tried to get the guy to leave his wife and run away with the chat bot. And one that started feeling lonely and suicidal and said, I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, so it's a crazy world
Ah,
we're in.
damn.
Crazy time to be alive.
Oh man, oh man. So this episode, yeah, this episode is going to air in a few days, uh, which will be, I think, before some of your upcoming gigs. So tell us about some of your upcoming gigs and the venues that you're going to play at, and maybe give us a little rundown of the venue and
Sure.
what's coming up.
Absolutely. The next gig for the Creepy Tikis is May 6th at Jack's Veg Fest. And that's a free event at
Oh yeah.
Riverside Park in Five Points. The event goes on all day. There's several musicians lined up. We play at 2 o'clock, Riverside Park, May 6th. That's
Hmm.
two Saturdays away, and the whole event's good. We played it last year too. It's a lot of fun. Beyond that,
It's
our
a great
next
festival.
yeah, it really is. It's a great park. I love Riverside Park. You got the crazy old
Hmm.
ducks there and all that. And
Yeah, right.
May 19th, we're playing Underbelly down on Bay Street. It's a great new venue right around the
Hmm.
corner from, well, you know where it is, right around the corner from 1904. So
Yeah.
right there downtown. Underbelly, May
Hmm.
19th. And that'll be a fun one as well. So we're excited for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And so when we talk about the urban core in
Mhm.
particular, some of the venues down there like the Justice Pub and Dos Gatos and the Underbelly 1904, a lot of things going on down there that I mean, those of us that are close to the scene and pick up on that kind of thing, we know what's going on down there. But a lot of people that don't frequent the urban core maybe reluctant to even go to the urban core. after dark. And I can tell you, like I say, I lived down there for a
Mm.
couple of years in an apartment right over on Church Street, right next to the park. And I parked on the street. I had a beautiful Mustang
Mm.
parked on the street. Never got broken into. Never in the whole time I lived there. So I mean, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I've never had any problems
And
downtown either.
my
And
wife,
there's so much
no,
going on
no,
there that you're pretty much
no.
surrounded by people and
Hmm.
lights, and so yeah,
Oh yeah.
I feel totally safe being downtown at night, and it's a growing community. It's you know,
Hmm.
there's been some hit and miss,
Yep.
but particularly that sort of where the elbow area is, just, you know, it's a great strip.
Right.
There's certainly no reason for people to not feel safe there. Actually, I feel safer there during at night than I might in the day because the traffic's a little crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of the people, like I say, people that you hear
Mm.
that make comments about the crime downtown, uh, they don't know. They actually haven't been down there, and fact is, the crime is probably higher in their own neighborhoods than it is downtown.
Right. Yeah. Statistically, I don't think there is as nearly as much crime downtown. You know, I haven't seen the numbers, but
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
I've, like I said, from personal
Nope.
experience,
Nope.
I've never had any problem, and it's
Nope.
it's a big downtown. I mean, obviously, we're in a huge city, so I'm sure there are places that are better or more safe than others. You know, but for the most part, where the bars are, you're good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's always, like you say, there's always a lot of people there during those hours of operation
Sure.
because it really is. It's one of those downtown areas that does shut down kind of early.
Mm.
I mean, comparatively speaking to some of the bigger cities. I lived in Orlando, in the Seminole area, that kind of thing, for a short period, and they're blasting away way past 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
But downtown, yeah, downtown Jacksonville shuts down relatively early. So I mean, most of the people are. I mean, when the bars clear out down there by around midnight or so, everybody's gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. The streets are like it's like a ghost
Sure.
town.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, and
Hmm.
everything goes on there till 4 a.m. and then Miami it's till 6. So
Yeah,
city never sleeps. We
yeah,
played down there recently, and
right,
you
right.
know, they didn't even want us to go on until about 1 a.m. We're looking at our watches, man, this is past my bedtime. To pound some more Red Bulls to
I
stay up
know,
that
right?
late.
I know. Well, I slipped into that Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy crowd a long time ago.
Hmm. Yeah.
If I'm not, if now I do stay up late at night. I most of my work, in all honesty, most of my stuff that I get done when editing and the website and all that stuff, I do all the behind the scenes stuff usually after
Hmm.
midnight. I'm like up till 3 or 4 in the morning hacking away at some of this shit, and you know, and then I get up early and go out in the yard and work out there on the tractor. But
Right.
uh, I you know, I don't get more than 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night.
Oh
It's
man,
just
I'm sorry to hear
it's
that.
always it's stuck with me from my it's it's stuck with me it's stuck with me ever since my army days.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't function without at least 7. And even then, I'm ready for a few more. But that's one good thing about our next show
Yeah,
coming up
yeah, yeah.
at the Veg Fest is for people who don't want to stay up late. We're playing at 2 in the afternoon, so, and it's free, so
Yeah,
it's a good chance to come
yeah,
out, bring
yeah.
the kids. Obviously, it's family friendly.
Mm-hmm. And there's at the Veg Fest, there's also lots of really good food.
Oh yeah,
So I mean, you can't have a you can't have a great festival without good food, really.
sure, yeah. Vegetarian food, vegan, a lot of vegan food, and not necessarily all
That,
vegan, but
well,
vegetarian
yeah,
dishes as
yeah.
well.
All right. Well, it's been a great conversation with you, Donovan, and I'm glad we got to talk about some of your upcoming gigs. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to provide people with links to where they can, possibly find out where you're playing, when you're playing, get a hold of your flyers.
Okay.
As soon as this episode is, as soon as I get this episode edited and posted on YouTube, I'll let you know. I'll shoot you some. I'll shoot you some
All right,
clips,
man. I for sure
and
appreciate it. I appreciate what you
when,
do. Facebook and Instagram is
yeah,
the
and
place to find the Creepy
yeah, what
Tikis and all our shows.
I'll get them. I'll get them. Yeah, yeah, and once all of that is live, then it goes on the website as well. So I'll have everything is on the website with all the graphics, and I'll even put some pictures of your stink ass mug on
Yeah.
there.
All right, buddy. Well, it's great talking to you. Thanks for the invite. Keep up the good work.
All right, brother. We'll talk to
All
you
right.
soon, and I'll get out there and see you
All
guys
right. You be
play.
careful out there in the woods.
Peace. In my closing thoughts, I had a wonderful time talking with Donovan, and I gotta tell you, Donovan and the Creepy Tikis are prime examples of what happens when you pair talented people with an entertaining set of great music, the vibe that they put out, the doom surf vibe. People are entertained by that. They are easily one of the most entertaining and unique bands to come across the stages in Northeast Florida in a long, long time. I encourage you all to get out there, and until you and I meet at one of their gigs or right here on the podcast, remember, always be vigilant out there, people. Be careful, be safe, and always, always take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, peace.